real quick. And yeah, this we have had 106 guest speakers. We have 347 members who have landed jobs through this. God, that number just keeps going up. That is awesome. And we have 2,800 plus members on LinkedIn. And of course, that is still going up as we speak. We are going to move on to the speaker portion now. Carlo, do you have anything you wanted to add before we get into our speaker?
Yes, Adam. I know. So Adam mentioned that we will have a Q&A after the speaker, but I just want to ask everyone, please, 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 let's keep our mics muted so we can
Oh, yeah.
we could be we could receive the good information and good insight that I know Brian has for us. He's a very wise guy, so and I know he has a lot of gems for us. So let's be respectful. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me, Carlo. That's great advice. Please keep your mics muted and please no interruptions during the speaker's presentation. And with that said, Brian, I had a conversation with this guy. What was it, 2 months or a month ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And we
A
had a
little
really
bit,
good
yeah.
conversation. Yeah, and this guy, he's an instructor. He's a teacher at a teacher at heart, as he likes to put it. And I definitely gleaned that from my conversation with him. My mother was a teacher, and you can spot him a mile away. So not only does he have a lot to teach, but he has a way of distilling it to people that it just sort of germinates in you. It's almost by osmosis. So I'm really excited to see this guy, and I'm really eager to hear what he has to say. And hopefully, each and every one of you can pick up something from his hard work and his years of experience. So with that said, no further ado. Here you go, Brian. You got the floor.
It's like one of the nicest intros I've ever had.
Oh, dear.
Um, I really appreciate that. It's great to see you again. It's great to see Kale, good friend of mine, known him for over a year now. Love him a lot,
Yep.
and he's a difference maker. Period. That's
You
awesome.
too, man.
Thanks, buddy. All right, I'm going to dive in and share. And I kind of curated some stuff to try to fit within kind of the 20 minutes and then Q&A kind of format after that. So let me dive into here, y'all. And let's see how this flows. I hope I have my slides set up properly. Okay, it looks like you guys, I see the red border, so that tells me you can see it. But it's great to be on. I haven't actually done this podcast in about a year and a half, maybe a year. So it's been a long time. So it's great to see everybody and how this has grown. It's pretty special. It's neat that it's a nonprofit now. When I first did this, it wasn't a nonprofit. It was more of an informal thing, and now you guys are putting formal structure. So that's really cool. It's a huge need. I think all of us on the call would say we wish it wasn't a huge need, but it's more and more need. So good on you guys. Good job for sure. All right, I'm going to share a few scoops and ideas. I do run Job Seeker Pro, but I'll tell you about that here as part of my intro. So here's my little Who's Brian slide. Been married quite a while now. It's my wife, Jamie. I'm a girl dad. I live here in Grapevine, Texas, which is right by the DFW airport in North Texas. A lot of experience in the sales world. It's all technology based and a lot of sales management or selling myself. Recently, channel sales. So kind of all around technology and different kinds of sales. I navigated 4 job searches up to this. I'm on one right now. So it's now 4. I'm 54 and I've had since 44. I've had 4 job searches. So unfortunately, I'm getting good at this. But it's a really hard. It's a really painful. It's emotionally hard. This last one is a real kick in the stomach for sure. Because I had done some really big things in the company, but then we got bought by private equity, and that's what happens. So it's been hard, but I'm also brushing up on everything that I know and adding new strategies to Job Seeker Pro. So honestly, it's kind of a positive. One of you guys were saying that a minute ago. Actually, Adam, you were saying that like sometimes we don't realize that there can be good things that come from going through this. And so even though it's painful, I'm seeing some of that right now. So it's a mix. It is painful, but I am seeing good things as well coming from that. I'll actually show you one of them on this call. But yeah, so I navigated 4 job searches, including one during the pandemic. And what I found, guys, is that because I have a sales background, guys and gals, I found that my sales strategies and what I learned in sales and tech sales, I found that actually those really helped me on the job search. Building business cases, presenting myself, following up, being organized. Like there's so many things that were actually from my sales background that kind of informed my job search. And people said that I was doing things a little bit different and that kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, that's interesting. So eventually I created a course that's Job Seeker Pro. It's a course and there's coaching and stuff too. I'll talk about that at the end. But anyway, I took what I learned and now help a lot of people around the world, mostly U.S. though, with Job Seeker Pro. So diving into some of the training stuff that I wanted to cover today, y'all, I think you guys can see this school of fish swimming around, right? And this is the job search. It really is. There's a lot of fish in the sea circling around, looking for that opportunity, hoping to get responses, and it's painful. I mean, remember, I'm on a search right now, so I'm with you directly. And when I'm not with you on a job search, I support job seekers, and I have for almost 4 years now. So I know this is what it's like, and I know this is hard. The average job has 250 applications online now, and and I know you and I have both seen some where it's more than that as well. By the way, there's some signs, late spring, there are some signs of more jobs coming. Actually, I'm seeing more online. So, that's a positive sign, but still it's competitive, right? So the question I have to ask is, what is your plan to stand out, right? And if you haven't really thought about that, then that's probably worth the call today, right? What is my plan to stand out, do something different? Look at this huge number of fish, probably 1,000 fish, whatever the number is on the screen here. So all those fish are all looking for the same job that you are. But then look over there where there's a yellow spotlight on the side there, right? Every fish that swims through that yellow spotlight is now the only thing you see on this screen. You don't see one other fish. You see whatever's in the spotlight right there. And so that's the wonderful thing. I want to really encourage you guys. The first encouragement I want to give today is that it doesn't take that much to stand out. And once you have a spotlight on yourself, you will stand out. So I'm going to cover a few ways to spotlight yourself today, but there's kind of an important principle. And the important principle is that you have to be brave. My course, by the way, is called Brave. It's called the Brave 5-Step Job Search. And brave is a very important mindset for us to work on. And we want to be brave. We want to be courageous. We want to try something different. But you want to stand out and you want to do something different. And so that's really, this slide is really 2 points. First of all, courage to be brave. It's a choice. Be willing to look ridiculous, be willing to innovate, be willing to try a new idea, that kind of thing. And then in all of that is in service of standing out and putting that spotlight on yourself instead of all the other fish in the sea, right? So do something different, stand out. My own daughter here, this is actually cool. So she goes to OU right now. This is Noelle. And she was trying to get a paid externship at OU this summer. And there's tons of applications. She goes to OU nursing. And it's really important when you graduate to have, some internship experience. And so obviously I'm her dad and, I run Job Seeker Pro. So she knew that it'd be good for us to chat about some ideas. And by the way, this is not just a normal internship. It's an externship. So it's paid, which is even better, right? So experience and she gets paid. So anyway, she was trying to, apply for this, but of course, all the pre-nurses at OU are applying for this, obviously. And there's like 3 spots in the whole program. Okay. So she sat down with me and she got an interview. That's a good step, right? Just the fact that she even got the interview. And I said, Noelle, why don't let's prepare your questions before your interview and let's send them to your interviewer in advance. And so we did that, and ChatGPT helped us a lot. And you can't just take what ChatGPT gives you. You do have to, humanize it, and you do have to look at that and make it your own. But it gave us a good start, right? It made it quicker. And then we kind of shaped it ourselves. But then I said, hey, Noelle, why don't you do something a little bit different? ChatGPT had just come out with Images 2, which is their brand new version of Images. creates much, much better and smarter images now. It's unbelievable. So I said, why don't we just tell ChatGPT we want to create a color infographic for the University of Oklahoma in their colors. Let's upload your picture, and let's say we want to create these, what is it, 7 questions, like 7 questions, and create a 7-question infographic to send over to this interviewer at the school. So she really balked at that, by the way, because she thought that was weird. But ChatGPT created it in like 1 minute, and this is, as you can see right now, this is gorgeous, right? It's in the school's color logo, just gorgeous, and it's got the good questions on there, so they have a heads up on the kind of questions that she wants to ask. But she thought it was weird because she's my daughter, so she has to think everything Dad says is weird. But her mom said, no, that's the best thing I've ever seen. You need to send that over. And so now Noelle, of course, it's Mom, so she believes Mom. That's okay. But she got the job. And this is the only thing she did separate or special. And none of the other kids did a single thing special. Noelle got 1 of 3 spots, and it's life-changing for her to get that, right? So point is, why not, before your interview, send your questions in advance? And hey, why not put them in a little nice infographic in ChatGPT, right? The new images functionality is amazing. I did this yesterday with a guy that I'm interviewing with, and he's actually down in Australia, but I had to interview with him last night. And I didn't send questions in advance, but his name is Spiro, Spiro. And I sent him an infographic of 6 ways that Brian Howard and Spiro, whatever his last name is, can work together well. And he got a total kick out of that, right? And I guarantee you, and I know I have one competitor for that job, just one left. And I know that the other competitor didn't do that, right? And so I'm doing something that took me, like 3 minutes with ChatGPT images to send him before the interview, 38 minutes before the interview, a nice little bit of love of how, 6 ideas of how we can work together. So it's pre-interview stuff to kind of like frame yourself to the interviewer that you're different, you go the extra mile, you have a high sense of quality and taste, right? So it's a neat little idea of do something interesting pre-interview and send that over to them. Give them a little bit of love and a little bit of something nice. It's not weird, and it's going to help you stand out. So that's idea number 1. Idea number 2 is LinkedIn posting. And you guys see Kale posting a lot, right? Kale is a master LinkedIn poster. And Kale, I try to like your stuff. I don't like them all, but I don't like anybody.
I don't like all my stuff either. So
I do.
No.
I do. I love what you're doing. I try to give some thumbs up, some little marks on there as much as I can, because I appreciate and I respect it. But Kale is a master class in doing this, guys. So if you haven't followed him, please do yourself a favor for your own sake and follow him, because he does this religiously. And what it is it's LinkedIn posting to attract jobs. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. So this is somebody who took I have a free public class that's recorded that you can take. If you take that, by the way, you get a discount on my full program if you want it. If not, the free one has a lot of value in it. But Melissa took the free one and she started doing LinkedIn posting. And here's kind of a very relaxed one that she did about 2 years ago on Labor Day. And she got 4 interviews just from doing this simple post on LinkedIn. And by the way, I wouldn't do cupcakes very often because it should be more insight. It should do more like the Kale stuff, more insightful posts. But honestly, even this one is just kind of encouraging. Encouraging posts are okay too. And so she got 4 interviews from that. She got a job. So anyway, this posting thing really does work. Now I'm doing that too. So as you guys know, I'm on a job search now. So I have been posting on, I think Kale's been giving me some love too. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I've been posting some ideas too from my own history. And so what I do is I try to post, once or twice a week at least. And the best practice is really much more often than that. But I've been getting busy. But I've been posting as much as I can, ideas from my career or successes or things that they're not just braggy. They're trying to add some kind of value. And so here's one that I did. And Danny here was forwarded this by somebody in my network that I barely know, Lisa Lowry down in Dallas, who I barely know Lisa, but she saw this post and she sent it over to Danny. And I had an interview with Danny, and Danny's trying to get funding, and we'll see if it works out. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a delay in funding for the headcount, but she really wants to work with me. Guys, the only thing I did is a post, right? That's all I did. All that Melissa did here was do a post, right? So LinkedIn posting, if it's value added, and it needs to be pretty high quality, but that can really help you stand out and be attracted to jobs. And I've had that in other job scenarios too, like the pandemic. I had 2 CEOs reach out to me just from posting as well. So quality posting on LinkedIn is a really, really good way to help you stand out. And then Kale will tell you this too, but in your post, there's 3 dots up here. If you on your don't do this with all of them, but on your better posts, click on the 3 dots and feature it. And then those will be pinned to the top of your profile to help you stand out even more. So LinkedIn posting is great. There's a lot of ideas. I'll give you 5 real quick. This is from my free public class, by the way. But here's 5 quick ideas for LinkedIn posting. One of them that you can do is job seeker stuff that's working for you, stuff that's a tactic that's working, or an idea or something encouraging. But helping job seekers is a wonderful way of giving back, honestly, which is a lot like this podcast. But you post on that, and then what's great is that will actually let people know that you're on a job search, and also it kind of frames you as this is a person who's under pressure themselves on a job search, and yet they're taking the time to post to help other job seekers, right? So it kind of shows a little bit of your, kind of where you're coming from, and it's attractive, right? That helping is attractive. So posting job seeker advice is one kind of post that you can do. Another kind of post is very inspirational. You saw Melissa's a minute ago about relaxing on Labor Day and giving yourself a break, right? And she got 4 interviews from that. This one here is from the pandemic, on my pandemic job search. And all I said on this whole post was outwork, outprepare, outlast, outhelp, outcare. That's all I said, right? So it doesn't have to write, like this one, I wrote a book, right? This one is like 5, 10 words. Another type of post is sharing really value-added content from off of LinkedIn, or something that you saw that was on LinkedIn that you wanted to reshare and then add some comments. I see Kale doing that some. Do this here. This is a great way. This can be a really quick type thing, right? You find this one here was during the pandemic, and Tony Robbins was suggesting to protect yourself from too much news because it was scary. You guys remember like CNN had like a death feed in the bottom of how many people died. It was like the most negative. So the news was kind of negative. And by the way, now with like AI layoffs and stuff, the news is negative too. You do want to be careful of that, actually. But my point is, posting interesting and useful content, whether it's off LinkedIn or reposting from on LinkedIn, still gets your name out there as well. And by the way, people kind of associate you with the stuff that you are posting and reposting. So you actually kind of pick up that. This one here was me giving love to Rob. Rob's a great guy. I posted about him, and I gave him, he has a really neat, probably a lot of lessons, but one particular lesson stood out to me. And I had the time on the pandemic, so I posted something nice to Rob. I tagged him, and that got some traction. And it also shows again how you are the kind of person who gathers insights, gives credit to where credit is due. So posting and giving people credit is really a good one. Also, this one is kind of a combo example, because you see what this does here. This right here tells a really good picture, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So do think about posting that are very image centric, even if the message is short, but an image can be a great one too. And by the way, all your stuff can't be AI. Do some photography and stuff like that too, because there's so much AI now that photography will actually stand out a little bit more too, right? So I think, isn't that funny how that works? Although do use your AI. I like it. And then also, this is the most important one. And this is the stuff that Kale, you'll see him just killing it with this. And I hope I'm doing an okay job on this round of job searching as well. But post on expertise from your field. Share ideas, strategies. You don't have to be on camera like this. You can be, but you can see the stress on my face as I was making myself do camera there during the pandemic. And also, frankly, the pandemic was stressful, very scary time. But I was putting myself out there. So put yourself out there. Does not have to be on camera, but put your techniques and your ideas and your expertise from your job field, and that'll be great. Now I'm going to give you 2 strategies before I wrap up to get executive attention. The first strategy is after you apply for a job. So what happened was I applied for a job I was very interested in online. And then I looked up the job had 1,000 applications, but I really, really liked the job. And I really wanted at least a chance. I at least wanted the interview. So after I applied, I was like, what am I going to do? Like how, I mean, 1,000 people are applying here. And so what I did was I looked up the senior executive that was over that role, like the very senior, like SVP for in that. So if you're in the IT field, you want to go to the CIO, CTO, VP of IT, something like that for this move. Just find whatever your role is. Go for the senior most or the second most senior, position, and find them on LinkedIn. But what I did is I reached out to her. Her name is Marjorie. I sent her this custom in-mail message, and it was for a company called HackerOne. It's a really cool company. Just by sending her a nice message, and I kind of made the case for myself. I sold myself, right? A job search is sales, and I kind of made the case for it. And she did get me that interview. I really appreciated that. And it's like that's not going to necessarily get you the job, but a lot of times, guys, we just want the chance. Like the job is, we want the job eventually, but mainly it's like, give me the at-bat. And I got the at-bat, and that's all I could ask for. So after you apply to a job, if it's really important, write a nice in-mail message, send it to them, and ask them to help you get out of the resume stack and just get that first interview, right? And by the way, once you write this, you can save it on your desktop and reuse it. Just tweak it, right? So message an executive after applying. The other one, this is one of my signature moves for sure, and this takes some time. During the pandemic, I was trying to interview with support.com, and I applied, and there was, again, pandemic was terrible, as you know. But millions of people were applying to roles. I really, really like this role at support.com. And so I saw the CEO looked at my profile, and I was like, okay, here's my opening. So I spent like 3, 4, or 5 hours, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours. And I thought, why don't I come up with ideas for the CEO that are related to the role that I was going for? All right, hang on, there's my timer telling me to hurry up. Okay. I spent all this time, and I came up with some ideas for him. And I think I came up with 4 ideas. I had to crop it so it'll fit on the screen, but came up with like 4 ideas for him.
Brian, feel free to take all the time you need, by the way.
Okay,
sorry to interrupt.
Cool.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty close though. But I figured out his email because I figured out the support.com email structure, and I figured his email out. And by the way, for this job search, I spent maybe $50 on Lead IQ, and I now have access. I have a little tool on LinkedIn now. I can find anybody's email address. And I think I don't remember what I spent, $50, $80, I don't know. But I get like 1,000 contacts or something crazy, and it lasts for a whole year. So if you want to find emails for people like executives to reach out to, Lead IQ is pretty cheap. So I do recommend that. In this case, I didn't do that. I think I figured out, but I did. Apparently I found it because he responded. But whenever I sent him these ideas, I'll answer your question just a second, Mark. But what Rick said here is, Brian, I appreciate the trace and the follow-up. I'll share your email and thoughts with our HR team, and someone will get back to you shortly. Thanks again for sharing your insights. And so because I spent all this time coming up with pretty interesting ideas for him, because I've traced him down, I found him and I emailed him, Rick got to learn that I have ideas. I put myself out there. I did something different than other candidates. I used a little bit of courage in this too. I took some risks, and he appreciated it. And guys, I literally was fast-tracked. This position was just open. I talked to the CMO, head of finance, head of support, everybody, and I literally was pre-offer, and then the board replaced him. So I can't guarantee all these moves are going to get you jobs. I mainly try to get you attention, and I try to get you the chance, right? And so my point is, I literally had this job, and that all I did is do this special analysis for him and reach out to him and look at this freaking email. I mean, I'm going to frame this email. Mark had a question. Hey, Mark.
Okay. Yeah. Some free ones that are good for finding email addresses, and I've mentioned it in the chat as well. Hunter.io and also Rocket Reach are awesome. Good. So for the budget conscious,
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you to share that. Love it. So find those people and, be brave, reach out, provide value. That's a big thing of standing out from all the other fish in the sea, is providing insights, providing value. All right. I want to tell you about what we have available with Job Seeker Pro real briefly. So the first one, the brand new thing that we have is actually Kale doesn't even know this yet, but all the people inside my program are going to have access to this. It's called Scout AI. It's a brand new app, and it uses AI to find jobs and collects them for you. And then it does things like customizes your resume, customizes your cover letter, and provides all kinds of insights for you, and has a job tracker and all. It actually has something I added a few days ago. It now does AI powered interview practice, and it's freaking phenomenal. This interview practice is absolutely phenomenal, and this is all inside of your different job trackers here. It also has AI suggested next actions. It has company news, description, job description, notes. There's more. I had to crop it to fit it on here, but feel free to check out. I am going to eventually charge this because there's a fairly significant amount of AI costs that I'm incurring right now. But I do need beta testers. So if you want to go check out jspro.ai and give Scout a kick, then definitely do that. Eventually, I'm going to have to charge. Like this interview here costs me $1 every time you use it. So I'm going to have to charge a little bit for it. But for probably a week or so, it'll be free. And then I'm going to give this to people who sign up for my full program. I'm going to give them access for free. Although I might, because the AI is fairly expensive, I might have to have limits to that, even for people inside my program. But I'm going to be as generous as I can with them because they bought the full program. So anyway, there's that. So that's Scout. So I have two programs now. What Kale and I work with together is my full program, which is the Job Seeker Pro Brave 5-step job search. Yep. So
I'm sorry, from where?
Yep.
Consulting?
What's that? Oh, we need to mute that person.
Yeah, mute them. I thought it was from Brian. Go ahead. Yeah, mute her.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brian.
All right. So two things that the Job Seeker Pro program offers is a program. It's a training course as well as consulting and personal LinkedIn review for me. Lots of services in that. But that's jobseeker.pro/fast. You can take my free one. If you love the free one, you're going to get a lot of value in the free one. There's a huge discount, more than 50% on the full program. But you have to take the mini one, the free one, to get the discount. So anyway, feel free to check that out. Scout is publicly free right now because it's on beta. It's cost me $6,000 to develop this, guys. That's using AI credits. So this is a very advanced site. I'm trying to make this the best site on the internet. And right now, like resume customization, live AI interviews, like voice practice interviews, and the AI job collection that I'm doing, I'm starting to come up with a collection of stuff that not everybody has all those things. Some sites have one or two of those features. So it's a very good site. That being said, probably find a couple of bugs. Please be nice to me and email me if you find a bug. Yeah, please forgive those.
Break it.
Yeah, please break it. Yeah, but it should be a pretty great little app to help you out. All right, that's it for that. One thing I'll show you this is inside the program. So if you did end up using my full program after you take the free one, this is an example of how last year we added this. This basically creates your own little personal acronym, a little personal framework, and it creates the content for slides for you. And it's a great way to differentiate yourself. So, and even if you don't use my program, I think you should really be thinking about this. Have a PowerPoint that describes not just your work history, but how you do it. Like, how do you think about engineering or IT or cybersecurity or human resources, right? Come up with a powerful acronym for yourself. And each one of these letters means something. Like for Lindy here, she's one of my students. Listen and learn, engineer solutions, align teams, drive impact, and spark growth. That's what leads means for her. The instructions for how to do this with AI are inside my course, but you don't really, you can just figure this out too. Point is, this is an example of things that you need to do to stand out on your job search and do something a little bit different. So anyway, I will take questions. I'll probably leave it on here just so you can see. You can see what we have. You know what? Let me go to this slide because that's there you go. Okay, yeah.
Hey Brian, can I forget
Yeah.
what you call it, but I've got it in my mind, and forgive me if I don't get you to it. But
Yep.
you've got the analysis you did for me. Remember where it was a newer thing, and you ran it for me a couple of months ago, where it said, "Hey, this is what you do. This is who you talk to. This is how you present your brand." You handed me a brand handoff book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share that with these folks if you could.
Yeah, I have, this took me 80 hours to develop this, but there's I have a 12-page AI prompt that I run for you personally. What I need for you guys to do that, I need your resume. I need your LinkedIn URL, and then I basically download your LinkedIn to PDF, and then you have to fill out a questionnaire. And it's like, I don't know, it's like 13 questions. But with all of that, the AI analyzes the answers to those questions and your LinkedIn and your resume, and it creates some special job search analysis of what types of titles you would be the most competitive for, and it also creates a personal brand for you.
Yep.
And so, that is really important. That's an example. Yeah, that's inside my program, and that's an example of how we can use AI. Doesn't do the work for you, but if you have the ideas and you have the if you take the time, we can really use AI to sort of enhance who our human selves are. And that's a great example of that. Yeah. And Kale, you know what I really want to do with that, man? It's AI. I feel like I can put that into Scout. I really do.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. And I'm going to hand you also too. We're collaborating in real time, guys. I want you to hear this because this is the passion, and this is what you want to do with your passion and your ideas, right? Same deal. What I was going to say, Brian, is the red team analysis that I do for resumes and for LinkedIn. I'm going to hand those to you, and let's see how they fit in Scout.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like, one of so Kale, guys, Kale is probably like in my program. Let's just put it to you this way. Some people pay for the program and then, they do some of it or they don't finish or whatever. Kale has one of the highest logins in the course of all time. And Kale not only shows up and does this stuff, but he innovates. And somebody go follow his LinkedIn and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? That's an example of that proactive spirit that he's got. He's always offering to help everybody. It's not surprising that he's on this call today. Of course, that's him. AI is great, but that proactive spirit is really, really what sets you apart. By the way, I'm going to be transparent. I had a hard morning. I'm on a job search. I had a hard morning. And fortunately, my friend who I used to work with called me today. But I know it's hard. But all I know how to do is work hard at this and persevere and do the things to stand out. That's the stuff that works. Kale's great at that. I'm trying to be great at that. And so that's what I want to hear from you. I want to sort of share with you guys in love, which is that don't believe the thoughts. Don't believe the down, put action. Action actually does make you feel better too, by the way. It actually does. So, but yeah, I love Kale. Kale's a friend for freaking life for sure. If you guys haven't connected to him, do connect to him. Yeah, he's awesome. Check out Scout. I don't even have a way of charging for this right now. I do have a Stripe. So literally, I can't stop you from using this. But probably in a week or 10 days or something, there'll be a way to sign up for it that'll cover my AI costs. And so I can not be bankrupt because of your AI usage.
Well, tell you what, if you want to, guys, send them your Venmo. That way, you know what? There's no guilt or pressure on their part. If they send you a little Venmo, then hey,
Yeah. Send me $10. That'll cover like 10 interviews at least.
There you go.
But yeah, that is good. And by the way, it's actually worth don't abuse it, but the interview is like the most real. I'm using the very latest XAI. Just can't this. By the way, my AI uses like 3 different vendors under the covers, but XAI just released a real-time voice, and it's like a human being. It's the best interview. It's so great. Actually, I used it. I used ChatGPT, which isn't their voice is not as smart actually, but I used that about a month ago, I think. I was interviewing with a company called Logically, And Patrick, the SCP, said, "You're by far the best interview that we've had." And what I didn't tell him was like, yeah, because I just practiced with AI and she beat me up for like 2 hours until my interview was awesome. So that now I use a little smarter AI now in Scout, but Scout has that, and it's going to make you will prepare better. Your interview will go stunningly better if you practice out loud. Awesome. Well, this is not just the Kale and Brian show. Thoughts from Adam, thoughts from participants, questions, maybe a little encouragement you need.
Yeah. All right. Jimmy, if you'll stop recording, we can go into the question